promising young stars. Coming off his first Busch North Series win, a dominating performance at Lake Erie, he's a threat to win again in New Hampshire. But there are others off to great starts this season. Mike Stefanik and Matt Kovaluk have had dominating wins. Kovaluk is the series points leader coming into today's race at Loudon. And then there's the wily veteran Dale Quarterly. He won this race a year ago. They're all ready to race at the Magic Mile. Welcome to NASCAR's Busch Grand National North Series. Today at New Hampshire International Speedway, it's the New England 125, the 42nd time in the history of this series that they have been here to this 1 mile racetrack. And a very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Mike Hogwood here along with Pat Patterson. And Pat, I think in the North Series, you say New Hampshire, and every driver on the grid today will tell you that's the track where they really want to win most of all.
New Hampshire is just another name for Daytona for these guys. This is their Daytona 500. They get utterly excited about this. It's the biggest race of the year, and they put a lot of effort, Mike, into making sure they bring a car here that's going to be really good. Now,
we had some serious thunderstorms come through Loudon, New Hampshire yesterday. It washed out qualifying. That means we're going to start on points, and Matt Kovaluk will start on the pole. Track position's important here.
Now, let me tell you what, if you get a little luck for Kovaluk, this has been a place that hasn't been very lucky for him. Starting up front today may be just the remedy he needs to shake all the bad luck he's had at this place and finally get that win here.
And another guy we'll keep an eye on today is young Ryan Moore, the son of Kelly Moore, the all-time winner in this series. We saw him win last week at Lake Erie, and he's got a huge weekend this weekend.
Boy, he really does. He's driving for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. He's been a part of their driver development program. This is his first big outing coming out, if you will, in the Busch Grand National Series. So he's got this race to worry about this afternoon, and he's got qualifying to worry about for DEI for the weekend. So this is a huge weekend for him.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Ryan Moore. We'll have the starting grid for you, and the green flag of the New England 125. It's all coming your way next from New Hampshire, right here on Speed. Let's take a look at the starting grid now for this 125 lap race. On the poles, the points leader Matt Kovaluk as they line up by points. Mike Stefanik, who won it, Holland is alongside.
Row number 2 here at New Hampshire today, Andy Santerre and Mike Johnson in a Ford.
Then it's Dave Dion, over 60 years old, but having a great season. Mike Olson, second in points a year ago alongside him.
Row 4, Eddie McDonald and the last week's winner, recent winner, Ryan Moore in the number 74 car.
Joey McCarthy also trying to qualify for the Cup race here this weekend, and rookie Sean Case. What a surprise he's been.
There's Brian Chu, he's in a Chevrolet, and Brian Hoare, who will go off in a Dodge, row number 6.
Brian Siemens, last year's Rookie of the Year, and former champion Dale Shaw will start 14th.
Row number 8 here at New Hampshire today, Kip Stockwell, recently married. Congratulations to Kip and Scott Booley over in the 26.
Rookie Charles Lewandowski and the veteran Dale Quarterly's got some ground to make up in a hurry.
Work to do. There's John Salemi in the 63, and Jeff Anton starts up there in the 30.
Teddy Christopher won the modified race here earlier today, and Kelly Moore, all-time win leader in the series.
Brad Layton in the 25, and there's Rocky Moran Jr. making his second start in the series there.
Veteran Jerry Marquis knows how to get around this track, and rookie Kenny Horton alongside him.
Row 14, Don Wagner and John Cerbone in the 98.
James Savali is another one of many rookies in this race. Dion Ciccarelli is also starting 30th today.
There's Jack Sellers and Jamie Albee in row number 16.
Mike Moeller and Tim Andrews, whose dad is Paul Andrews, one of the Cup crew chiefs.
Mike Gallo and Nevin George there make up our 36 starters, row 18.
And Mike Gallo's a guy who could come up through the field in a hurry. He ran really well here in the fall race, finished 5th.
Well, for everybody who's looking at this racetrack, there you see the cars over in 3 and 4. This is a very flat oval, which means that when the driver takes that car down into the corner, it doesn't have that big wall of asphalt to hold it up, as we're looking for a green flag, Mike.
And the pace car is down on the pit lane. Cars are bunched together, and we are ready to go racing here in New Hampshire. The green is out. Look at Mike Stefanik on the outside there as they head down the back stretch now. Stefanik looks like he wants to lead lap 1.
Stefanik gets down there in the bottom, and, you know, we got to tell people that the Busch Grand National and Cup cars have been out on the racetrack. So there's a lot of rubber on this racetrack already, which was the reason Mike Stefanik could go outside and use that outer lane immediately on Kovaluk.
I talked to Mike earlier today, and he really felt that with some of the problems that Matt Kovaluk had yesterday in practice, that his car was running well enough that he could jump out to a lead, and he has checked out now some 10 car lengths over Kovaluk. Mike Stefanik, who won for the first time in this series since 1998 when he took the victory at Holland a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I like this car digging on the bottom there. Mike Johnson looking awfully good coming after Andy Santerre. That's the 4th red car in line as they come across there. And Johnson looks good there in the 96. Dave Dion right behind him.
We just got word from NASCAR that Tim Andrews, one of those guys who had to start in the back, got a little anxious on the start, jumped the start. He's going to have to serve a pass-through penalty down on pit road.
Dynamite Dave Dion there in a 29 trying to keep up with the front runners there. Back up to Stefanik. He's got himself a good lead, Mike.
Mike Stefanik, 47 years old, out of Coventry, Rhode Island, 2 times a champion in this series. You see Mike Johnson in the 96 and the 77 of Eddie McDonald. That is the battle for 4th place.
Took it away from Mike Johnson.
And Eddie McDonald has moved into 4th. McDonald just 24 years old, out of Raleigh, Mass. He has looked so strong at times this season.
Yeah, and he got a little squirrely there in the middle of that corner, too. And Mike Johnson really got to catch back up there. McDonald's car kind of pivoted on him right in the middle of the corner.
We see Santerre, who is tucked right in behind Matt Kovaluk. Boy, Kovaluk just had nothing for Mike Stefanik. Nobody has anything for him right now.
Well, Stefanik just finished running the modified race, so he's still fired up. He's only been a couple hours away from that, so he's got a good feel for the racetrack, and he's got her going.
It's the battle for 2nd place. Andy Santerre, who is the 3-time champion in this series. He's won 3 years in a row the title, and calling this season the Tour for 4 for that 44 car. He has not won a race, but as Candace told us, he changed all kinds of things and didn't get a chance to test it. But Candace, he looks pretty strong right now as he's trying to get a position on Matt Kovaluk. Caution is out on the racetrack.
Can't see right where it is immediately.
We'll get to Candace in just a minute. But on lap number 5, our first caution of the day.
There we go. Now we got a picture of it here, and that is Dale Shaw's car that they're quickly getting a carburetor fire extinguished. You see the rescue workers getting the hood up right now. They want to make sure that they get that car and the fire that was coming from the carburetor handled very quickly. Oh, this Kenny Horton in 19.
It was a 15 and a 19, hard to see. Under caution at New Hampshire International Speedway. You're watching NASCAR Grand National North Series racing here on Speed. And back in Loudon, New Hampshire, the New England 125, and we're about ready to go back. Green flag racing. We've had a couple of cars come on pit road, among them Brian Hoare and Dale Quarterly. It's a little early to make a stop, be able to go the rest of the way on fuel. Go about 100 laps on fuel here. Green is out, and Stefanik again gets a good jump on Matt Kovaluk. Andy Santerre, though, as they head into 1, took a look down low, wanted to maybe take a shot at 2nd place. And now Santerre, boy, he just lost the position to McDonald. The 77 car is really on the move. Eddie McDonald, we talked a moment ago about how he was hooked up. He has moved into 3rd place now.
Well, you got to be careful if you're Eddie McDonald right now. You may have some track position and you may be passing some cars, but remember, you only got 6 tires to work with today, and I got a feeling that, you know, there you see the move that Santerre kind of got caught down on the bottom. That's what it was. Kovaluk held him up. McDonald got around on the outside there by Matt kind of slowing up. But my point is that if you're Eddie McDonald, somebody, a spotter, needs to tell him, hey, don't burn these tires up too quick here, because you got a long way to go to get to a 125 here.
And Pat, look at the jump that Mike Stefanik has on the rest of the field. We were talking a moment ago before that caution came out about Andy Santerre and all the changes that he's made on the car. Candace, what's going down there in the 44 pits?
Well, guys, when I talked to Santier's crew earlier, they said they changed the entire front end, but they said what they did was they mimicked the car of his teammate, who is our current leader, Mike Stefanik. So obviously, you know, Andy may have something going on for him, going good for him today. Spoke to his crew chief. He said the car is getting better, but something I should mention is that brake problem that we talked about earlier. The crew said that that is only 50% fixed. What they needed was a caliper. Well, no one in the garage had a caliper. So if he's running up front, the brake problem will not be an issue, but if he, you know, moves back a little bit, we can have problems.
Yeah, what happens, Candace, is when he stands on the brake pedal, it actually pulls the wheel. And if you're in the middle of the corner, if you're going into the corner and you hit your brake pedal, it's actually going to pull the wheels of the car a little bit. So it really does have a lot to do with the way the car rolls through the middle of the corner in the way you set it up and coming into it. So that could be a problem for him later.
Well, right now he won second place, and he's about to take it away from Matt Kovaluk. Santerre, you see there on the inside, and he is about to get by him, and that is the battle for second place. Eddie McDonald in 77, and look at that red car. Dave Dion, 61 years young, hanging in there in the top 5 in this race right now.
Yeah, Kovaluk's car, the 40 right there, just doesn't want to turn in the middle of the corner. He lets the car drift out, but has a real hard time gathering it back up to be able to get into the throttle, just real tight.
That white 74 you see also in your picture there, right behind Dion, that is the youngster Ryan Moore. And there's Jack Sellers' smoke out the rear of that car. Sellers, who made the trip here from Sacramento, and his right front is flat.
He's pancaked the whole side of the car. Jack's hit the wall someplace back there, and the whole side of his car has been damaged.
Jack Sellers, Coca-Cola bottler out in Sacramento, California, a regular on the West Series for many, many years. That's a long trip for just a couple of laps.
That's where he's already bounced off the wall there. Smartly gets it down to the bottom of the racetrack, and we don't have a caution flag because of that. That's a good veteran move from Jack.
Back up front, our leader, Mike Stefanik. He took the lead on lap 1, and he has been dominant ever since.
Mike is really able to carry a lot of momentum into the corners. You see Ryan Moore there makes a move on Eddie McDonald, and look at Ryan Moore coming. I'll tell you, man, he's really looking good again this afternoon, Mike.
Yeah, Ryan Moore, when we heard in the open of our broadcast that he expected to have a car that could win this race today. Right now, it looks like he's pretty fast, but so far nobody has anything for Mike Stefanik. The car that has been on the move is the driver who won here earlier today in the modified race. There's Ted Christopher in the 35. He started 21st, and now he's in the top 10 all the way up to 8th place. So Christopher has just been knocking them off left and right, making his way towards the front. This is his second race of the season. He finished 4th at Stafford earlier this year. Teddy C, quite a name up here in New England, known mainly as a modified driver, but he can pilot a stock car around here as well. He's won here 4 times in a stock car.
Teddy's got 2 kind of fans. Ones that absolutely love it.
Oh, there's trouble. That's Ryan Seaman in the 06 who has slammed into the wall. A lot of damage. And the yellow is out. Ryan Seaman, who was the Rookie of the Year in this series a year ago. His day comes to an early end. The 22-year-old out of Toms River, New Jersey.
Now you see him coming through the corner here. Should see him coming into the picture. Yeah, he loses it there. Kind of gets up a little bit high on the racetrack. The 88 does a nice job of trying his best to hold on. Still misses him, which is a great job of the 88 car. And now you're just holding on, and you're going to get that guardrail hard. And down there you see the front of the 06 car, Ryan Seaman. What happens is you come up off the corner, you get back in the gas. Well, if you're a little bit out of position, as all our leaders are coming to the pit road right now, you can spin yourself around. That's what happened to Seaman.
Well, what I'm wondering now is, and I guess they all have it calculated, that is this enough time to
fuel only.
Go to the rest of the way? Well, obviously this will be it, because fuel stop here, you should have enough fuel to go the rest of the way. Stefanik is fueled, and he is away.
That's a good call on Stefanik's part, and of course all the rest of these guys doing the same thing. He didn't take tires. He has 2 tires he can work with later on. There you see Ryan Moore is going ahead and getting his 2 tires.
Well, we saw Dale Cortley come in early in this race. He's in again. Candace, what's the story with Dale Cordelin?
Well, guys, I spoke to the members of Dale's crew earlier. They said that the car had no front grip, that they had made too many changes since practice yesterday. They were hoping to make some changes during the pit stop, which obviously they just did. I'll find out what changes they made and get back to you.
We'll be back from the New Hampshire International Speedway with more NASCAR Grand National North Series racing in just a moment. Green and Dion and Joey McCarthy are your leaders up front. Joey McCarthy in the 8th car. He's had a tough start to this season. Finished 16th at Lake Erie. 12th at Stafford. Did have a top 5 run. 5th at Holland. We'll see what McCarthy can do up front.
I love that speed shot. Love seeing those cars come by like that. That's fun.
And you see the 3rd car in line there, the 5 car. That is Sean Case. He is only 19 years old. And Barney McRae is the owner of that car, who for many years the driver of the 5 car.
Did you see those guys in the garage? McRae around him?
Oh,
he's like a mother hen. He's like all over the place, just trying to make sure everything's just perfect for this kid, who's doing a great job for him today.
What a year he's had. He finished 14th at Stafford and then has had top 10 runs. 10th at Holland and 8th last time out at Lake Erie. Sean Case. He has made quite a statement in this series to start the season. Well, Mike Stefanik trying to make his way back up the field. He's already in 10th spot. Candace, what's going on in the 55 pits?
Well, just an update on that most recent pit stop that Mike made. He took fuel only, no tires. They said the tires are showing nowhere at all, so they're planning to go the distance, not planning to come back in.
We'll see about that.
Well,
they may be trying to trick you a little bit, Candace. I'm not so sure they won't use some tires today. We'll see though. That'd be a good strategy if they can do it.
Well, Stefanik.
Caution's out on the
racetrack. Caution has come back out on the racetrack. Caution is out.
It's the number 35 car, and that's Teddy Christopher.
Teddy Christopher. Oh my goodness. Teddy Christopher.
Well, he hit the wall hard too, because he shaked the whole rear end of that car all the way over to the left.
What a tough break for TC. Well, you talk about the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. He won the modified race and now gets turned around a little bit.
Brian Moore there on the top side, and Teddy gets loose right as he's exiting the corner, and then it's Kelly Moore that is trying to avoid him. So I have to take a couple of looks at that to figure it out exactly. It looked like that Teddy just lost it down on the bottom, trying to hold his car down on the bottom of the racetrack. Brian Moore was right up on top and his dad right behind. There you see Kelly catching the rear end of that car at the end of that spin. Boy, that's a tough break. That was a hard hit for TC, too.
Well, Ted Christopher, his 2nd race of the season. And this day is going to end a little short. Our leader, as we're about ready to go back green flag racing. But the car to watch out for, Mike Stefanik led the early going. He has made his way back up to 4th place. And I don't think it's going to be long before he challenges for the lead, as we are back under green. Don Wagner is up in 3rd place now in the 41 car. Wagner running for Rookie of the Year this year.
I'll tell you, the guy that really wants to lead right now is Brian Hoare, and he's making a move there on the outside, Mike.
There you see Brian Moore in that 74 car up to 17th place. Battle with Mike Johnson. There's Brian Moore. Brian Hoare now has taken the lead from Dave Dion. Brian Hoare, 33 years old, out of Williston, Vermont. He's got 1 career win in this series at Thunder Road in 2003. 5 times Hoare was the American Canadian Tour late model champ. He was Rookie of the Year in this series back in 2001.
He's knocked on the door a bunch, Mike.
Really
Remember last year, he's had a lot of opportunities to win races, and right now he's really looks good out in front there. But here comes the 55 and coming in a hurry.
Oh, I didn't think it was going to be long before Stefanik got up there. Now Hoare You were talking about last year. He qualified second for this race a year ago and ran up front for a while, but ended up finishing 21st. Finished 6th last time out at Lake Erie. That was his best run of the year. And he is the only Dodge in this field, the 45 car out front.
I like the way Dion's keeping up there in the orange car. That's the guy running second right there in the 29. He's got a nice line around the racetrack, and he's using the middle of the corner, which is really taking away where Stefanik's car has been effective so far.
Dave Dion began his racing career in 1964. As I said, he has won here before. You know how old that car is. He's running early 90s.
Wow. Yeah.
He says it's still got a lot of good races left in it.
Oh, I have no doubt. He looks like he's got a good roll going today, that's for sure.
That 25 is Brad Layton. Now, you talk about a guy who knows how to get around this racetrack. Brad Layton has 8 wins at this racetrack in this series. Stefanik getting by Dion. And there is Layton, who is now in 7th place. James Savali is rookie in the 7th car. He has been impressive this season when he's run. Only his 2nd race of this year. There's Savali, just 21 years old, out of Meridian, Connecticut. McDonald right behind him in the 77, and that light blue 88, that is Mike Gallo out of Maine. Told you he ran well here a year ago. Just runs a couple of races a year in this series. Finished 5th in the fall race here. They do have 2 races each year in this series here in conjunction with the Nextel Cup weekends.
So the 7 car just about made it exciting for everybody behind him there as he got really loose. The 77 had to check up, and that really got the 88 in a good position as Mike Olson's going to try to take advantage of that as well.
And Ryan Moore in that white 74 right behind him. Olson in 10th, Moore in 11th.
Remember what I told you about saving those tires and don't abuse your tires, and the 77 was jumping right out front when we first started this race. It's kind of backing up a little bit right now.
Man, look at Gallo and Savali almost touching as Gallo kind of roots him out of the way and gets by almost short track style. And Savali, the rookie, gets caught up high a little bit, and Olson gets by. Moore about to get by him right here. And McDonald in the 77
finds a new line. Yep.
We'll be back with more of the New England 125 here on Speed. Ryan Hoare still your leader. Mike Stefanik has made his way into 2nd place. And there's Dave Dion battling with Andy Santerre for 3rd place. Santerre on the inside and wants the position. I think some of those changes that Santerre made before this race have paid off, but that brake problem may come into play before this race is done.
I'll tell you what, you couldn't have slid a paper clip in between those two coming off the corner there.
We talked about Joey McCarthy, how well he's running. Look, there's Kelly Moore.
Let me tell you what won't work here. It's called 3 abreast. You got to be real careful at this racetrack. You don't want to be the guy on the outside if it goes 3 abreast.
Well, 2 wide, almost all the way around this racetrack right now. Dave Dion and Andy Santerre. And Dion not giving an inch. Oh, they touch.
And let me tell you what.
What a great piece of driving.
Yeah, Andy Santerre is regretting that he did that right now, because what happened to him last week at Lake Erie could happen to him again. If you damage that front right nose of that car, you will absolutely get rid of a front right tire. That's what cost Andy Santerre last week. Take a look at this one more time as we come back at it. You just can't rub that tire right there.
And what a great job by Dave Dion, holding his line, holding on to the position. Ryan Hoare, who had 3 top 5s in this series a year ago, did not have a win. Love to get one.
He's doing a nice job right now, though, of driving a nice line around this racetrack, and Stefanik's just hanging on. Look at this traffic jam here.
How about this right here? This is the battle for 12th place, currently owned by the 96. Mike Johnson, but Kelly Moore touches him. Kelly Moore, the all-time winner in the series in the 47 car, running his first race of the season. Look at Matt Kovaluk side by side with Tim Andrews in the 9 car. Oh my goodness.
Johnson holding him down at the bottom there, slides up the racetrack. Kelly says, whoa, wait a minute, partner, I'm here right now. I'll battle you down here in the corner and see if I can get a nose out front. That's exactly what Kelly does, and away they win.
You really have to admire Kelly Moore, who sacrificed his racing career and wanted to help his son. They decided that building in 2 cars out of that shop might have been too much, might have hurt both teams, so now they're basically just fielding the one, Ryan Moore. But Kelly Moore still has still can get up on that wheel and get it done, as we see. He won a race a year ago, won at Stafford, finished 2nd in this race last year. And Kelly Moore still young, just 46 years old.
Yeah, those Napa folks love him too. Boy, he's done a great job representing that sponsor and really taking care of them. But the proudest smile I've ever seen that man have was last week with his arm draped around his son, and his son getting that first win at Erie. That was something to see.
A lot of great battles going on this racetrack. There's Dion, and look who's caught him, Brad Layton. Dion has fallen back to 4th place now, and Layton in 5th, trying to take 4th away from him. And again, we'll remind you, Brad Layton has won in this series at this track 8 times. He knows his way to victory lane.
Well, getting around Dion's like trying to get a big bone out of a big dog's mouth. I mean, he's not going to give you a spot. I'll guarantee you that. Andy Santerre just had to find that out the hard way. And there's a black mark on the 29 where Santerre showed he had to battle to get his spot. Let's see if Layton's got to lay one on him to get around him, too.
Brad Layton, who's run just a partial schedule the last couple of years. He is 2nd all-time in career wins to Kelly Moore. Had 3 wins a year ago running a partial schedule, and this is his first year with that so-called dream team of Santerre, Stefanik, and then Layton on the partial schedule.
Gets a good run here, but let's see if the orange car drags him down to the bottom of the racetrack. No, Dion says, I'll tell you what, you're going to pass me, you're going to have to hit me hard. Layton's got to go up there, and he gives him another donut in the same spot that Andy Santerre did.
Just knocked him out of the way.
That's the price of admission. That is the price of admission with Dion. You're going to have to hit him in the door to get him out of the way.
Well, that's some great racing we're seeing here. Scott Booley going a lap down again.
That's fun.
In the 26. And look at Mike Gallo in that 88. He's just hanging around. He moved his way up to 6th. Gallo started at the rear. Here's that pass again. And Dion doesn't want to give up the spot easily. Not at all.
No, like I said, you want to pass Dion, you're going to get your hand stamped or something like that. He just gives him another donut, pushes Dave out of the way and says, see you later.
Stefanik's going to be a little careful here about this pass, trying to conserve those tires just a little bit.
I don't know if he's got anything to pass him with right now. I mean, Brian's car's awfully strong, and I don't see Mike making any real aggressive moves here. I think Mike knows right now he needs to ride. Let's get some laps off the scoreboard and get on around here to the 100-lap mark before they got to figure out what they need to do.
Well, as you see on the screen, we just passed 50 laps. 125 will make up the New England 125. Matt Kovaluk, who started out front, has fallen all the way back to 15th position. Candace, what's the story?
Well, I just spoke to Matt's crew chief, Perry. He said, I quote, that the right side is as tight as a Mack truck. He said that next time there is a caution, they are going to plan on bringing the car in. He said at this point they don't have anything to lose. That's how bad the car is. So explains why he's fallen back.
Yeah, what that means, Mike, is that when Matt goes into the corner, in the middle of the corner, he wants to get back in the gas, right? But the problem is the car just won't turn. It's just hung up there in the middle. And that's what happened to him on the start of this race. So hence the description of being as tight as a Mack truck.
We just lost a position to the 5 car, Sean Case, the rookie. And that's another spot on the track. So Kovaluk now back in 16th spot. You know, he had a tough time here last summer when we came to New Hampshire. Finished 28th in the race. And yesterday when they pulled off the truck, we had a battle for the lead. Stefanik is going to take the lead back.
Nicely done. Waves at Brian Hoare there. Thank you very much. Away you go.
Back to my point about Matt Kovaluk. They rolled off the truck. They were awful yesterday. They changed all kinds of things, but knew that this might be a long weekend. And Mike Stefanik, boy, he has a great car today. this be the day he gets his second win of the season? Last year, so disappointing for Mike Stefanik. Here's a guy who went to try the Truck Series, was the Rookie of the Year in that series in 2000, but just wasn't in a competitive truck, and he wanted to win races. So he came back to his home in New England and says this is where he wants to be, this is where he wants to stay. 47 years old, says he's really happy and really excited with his team and what Andy Santerre has brought building all these cars.
Well, Michael had a good run last week with the Lake Erie Speedway and finished up second there, so just continuing that momentum. There's the 74 car looking to make some moves.
And Mike Gallo in that 88, we talked about him earlier, starting dead last in this race, and now here battling for that 5th spot. That's what Dave Dion is 5th, and Ryan Moore now trying to get by him. That's the battle for 6th. Mike Gallo out of Sanford, Maine, where he works construction. Finished top 10 in this race a year ago. Finished 9th.
I'm impressed Ryan Moore made that pass look as easy as he did. Those cars were really side by side with each other, but smartly waits on the car, gets back in the gas, and makes a nice clean pass there. Question is now, does he have to go up and give Dave Dion another donut to get around him? Because that's what's facing Moore now. He's got to go up here and mess with Dynamite Dave.
As we've seen, nobody's had an easy time getting by that red 29 car of Dave Dion. Not today.
I don't expect the next car that tries to go by to have an easy time of it either.
Mike Olson lurking there in the 61 car. He is riding 8th right now. Kelly Moore has made his way up in the top 10.
'88 car really has run a good race so far, Mike.
Ran well here last year. Like so many guys in this North Series, feels all he needs to be successful. A little money, sponsor.
What it's all
he's
about.
ready to go.
That's what it's all about. See Ryan Moore's drawing a bead on the 89 there in front of them. There he is. Well, or the 29, I mean. Sorry.
Dion, yeah, pretty soon we're going to see. How would you like this? Dave Dion, 61 years old. Ryan Moore, 21 years old. The veteran and the youngster getting ready to do battle here in the 29 and the 74. Battling for 5th position here.
Well, looks like Ryan's got a little bit more motor, which is going to help him get around here maybe a little bit cleaner than the other guys that had to go around him there a few minutes ago. Ooh. Dicey over there.
I've been impressed with Ryan Moore the last couple of weeks. Of course, this season started so disappointing for him when he was battling for the lead at Stafford. Car broke, finished dead last in that race, but he's recovered. Spends most of his weeks down in North Carolina working at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. He's not as hands-on with his team as he was a year ago.
No, but all that good experience underneath those race cars up here for the few years that he's been up here, that's really paying dividends for him down there. Of course, this is where Martin Truex came from, and we all know the story there. Yellow is out on the racetrack. We got a problem somewhere, or some debris somewhere on the racetrack, as the caution just came out.
So caution is out, and be interesting to see who comes down pit road. Is there a number of cars that like to get their handling just a little bit better? I'm willing to bet that Mike Stefanik's not one of them.
It was appropriate there, almost at the exact halfway point. These guys can really start thinking about, well, do I need to come in here and make some adjustments on my race car? Do I like what I got? There's Mike Stefanik getting a little air into the car by shaking his hand around. Pit road's open for these guys to come in, so we'll see if anybody's going to take advantage of it.
Well, the word from NASCAR is that it was debris out on the racetrack. Halfway through here, the New England 125. And Mike Stefanik has led the most laps. Brian Hoare also having a good day. Andy Santerre, Brad Layton, and Dave Dion in the top 5 here at the halfway point. And it's Dion who's coming down on pit road. Dave Dion in the 29 to the attention of his crew, and they're going to change right side tires. The tire rule here today You're allowed 6, the 4 on the car plus 2. You are allowed to change some flats, but they have to be NASCAR approved. So Dion taking those 2 fresh tires. Matt Kobaluk also in on pit road during this caution. So now Dave Dion's going to have to make his way up through the field. Boy, they are doing some work on the Kobaluk car. Under caution at New Hampshire International Speedway. You're watching NASCAR Grand National North Series racing here on Speed.
We're trying to get a word with Mike Stefanik here in just a minute. We hear these guys talking about their strategy right now.
Brad making out. But your lap times are nearly a whole tenth better, sometimes more than a tenth. I'm looking at Dion's tires now. They actually look really, really good, so I know we don't have a problem. I've been pretty good to him. I just turned it up on the bottom to get by the 45, and I went back to, you know, 3/4 mode, you know. And he just put on right side.
Let's see if we can get a word with Mike Stefanik real quick. Mike is Pat Patterson up in the tire. Things looking pretty good out there for you right now, guy.
Yeah, absolutely. This Burnham Boiler Chevrolet Crisco Motorsports, this thing is a real fast race car. I'm trying to be smart with it, and you know right where I want to park it when this race is over if I can at all help it.
Yeah, no question about that. We know the green flag's coming here, but we want to ask you real quick. How about the racetrack, Mike? A lot of tire rubber on the track from the Cup cars and Busch cars earlier. Looks like that was a real help to you on the get-go.
Yeah, they cleaned it off pretty good with the jet blowers. I was able to get around the outside of Manny, so that was pretty good.
What about tires, Mike? Any chance you're going to want them, or you think you're going to need them?
I was real happy with the car at the pit stop, so I waved the tires off. I'm trying to be aggressive, conservative when I have to be. We shouldn't have a problem, but hey, you never know. It's racing.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. We'll talk with you later.
All right, let's take a look now at Mike Stefanik, who took the lead on the very first lap of the race. Matt Kobaluk starting there on the inside out front, but it wasn't long before that 55 car came out front. There's Dale Shaw, who brought out the first caution, former champion in this series, but his day was short. Second caution. Last year's Rookie of the Year, Ryan Seaman, who's lost it. And hard into the wall. And then Ted Christopher, I thought one of the favorites, certainly a guy with a chance here today. Close racing.
Wrong spot at the wrong time.
Andy Santerre and Dave Dion bumping. Matter of fact, might mention that Santerre just came into the pits a moment ago. And Mike Stefanik, who took the lead on lap 1 and has just taken the lead back from Brian Hoare. And he will lead the field to green now as we are ready, I think, almost to go green flag racing.
Oh, we had a car getting to the wall there on the start of that. Can't see is the black car there, number 9.
That's Tim Andrews.
Got into the wall there. You can see pancake the side of it on the start. A lot of times, if you're not careful, you can spin those wheels real quickly, and it looks like that's exactly what he did, or maybe missed a gear and got shoved into the wall, but nevertheless, lucky he didn't take the whole field out right there.
Tim Andrews, whose dad, Paul Andrews, has had quite a lot of success as crew chief.
Take a look at his restart again. See everybody get up to speed here, going through the gearbox, and bam, he may have got shoved into the wall.
Told you about Mike Gallo out of Sanford, Maine, 31 years old, the construction worker. What a run he's having, huh, Candace?
Absolutely, Mike. You know, he started 35th. He's currently running 5th, and the crew chief said the car is running great. Definitely a guy to keep your eyes on for this race.
You know, one of the reasons, or that he is running well, and I got to give credit to this, is to Steve Bird. Birdie really knows how to set up a race car, and he is helping Mike Gallo today. He's actually his spotter right now, but he was setting up that race car earlier today and yesterday in practice. And he's had a little bit of success in this sport.
Well, Kelly Moore's putting the heat on him right now, and he scared him to death the last lap by getting right up under his corner. And I saw the 88 start to shake that steering wheel a little bit. And Kelly said, look, I'm coming, dude. And he did. He got the spot from him right then. But Gallo really had to be careful. Kelly Moore, the veteran, was putting the heat on hard and almost got into him, but made a clean pass.
Kelly Moore now in 5th place, and right ahead of him is his son. Ryan Moore is running 4th. Kelly Moore is running 5th. Should be interesting when Dad catches up to him.
Remember the show those two put on out in Phoenix, Arizona when they were running nose to tail with each other?
Absolutely. There's Buzz Chu and Tim Andrews. Andrews hit the wall. How about this? 3 wide. Oh, my goodness.
That's dangerous business right there, folks.
Brian Chu running 12th. Andrews 11th. And Santerre 13th. The yellow's out. Caution is out on the racetrack.
Holy moly, look at this. The 30 car has really walled this thing up.
That is Jeff Anton.
What in the world happened there?
Jeff Anton has put it into the wall out of Russell, Mass. Under caution at New Hampshire International Speedway. You're watching NASCAR Grand National North Series racing here on Speed. Welcome back to the New England 125 at New Hampshire International Speedway. Good jump by Stefanik.
Getting trafficy back there right behind Brian Hoare. Those 3 cars almost made it 3 wide. They're battling for 3rd place there with Brad Layton and Ryan Moore. Had a lap car, the 67, was also in the middle of that mix. That's Jamie Albee.
Yeah, Albee, former champion in this sport. His first race of the season.
You know, Mike, for this series, this race is so important. I mean, we talked about it in the open about how this is their Daytona 500, and they really do treat it like that. When they come here, particularly here, even though they race the mile at Dover as well, particularly here at New Hampshire, they really want to win on this racetrack.
You could hear it in Mike Stefanik's voice when you talked to him, how excited he was about the way his car was running and how much he wants to win here today. But behind him, Brian Hoare, he wants to win just as bad. And then it's Brad Layton, Ryan Moore, Kelly Moore, Mike Gallo runs 6th. Andy Santerre, who's back in the 13th position. Candace, what are you hearing down in the pits?
Well, guys, first and foremost, here in the pits of Andy Santerre, the rumor is, or from the crew chief, he says that they apparently pitted too early on lap 18, so they had to come back in, get some more fuel. But that smoke that you've been seeing...
Candace, just a second. Sean Case has turned it around. We'll get back to you in just a second, Candace. But Sean Case has just crashed into the wall, the young rookie, and brought out the caution yet again.
Oh, and he was having such a great day. He really was. Take a look, see what happened to him. Here he's already sideways there in the middle of the corner when we get to him on camera there. And, of course, he just gets up there and gets the safer barrier here into the Speedway. Looks like he and Matt Kovaluk were going at it hard. He was down on below Kovaluk, and then looks like he just kind of lost it up the racetrack.
What a tough break for the youngster. Only 19 years old, but he's able to drive away, as you can see, under caution at New Hampshire International Speedway. Hoare, Brad Layton, Ryan, and Kelly Moore will again lead this field to green. Lap cars down on the inside. Stefanik again gets a good restart, but look, Brian Hoare's got some strength too.
His car's really turning up off the corner, and that's keeping Brad Layton at bay there, as he would love to get that spot away from Brian Hoare.
Hoare and Stefanik. Brad Layton, who I think is just biding his time before he gets up there and challenges.
Well, Mike Stefanik loves the clean air. There's nothing in front of him, no lap cars, no problems, and he can make as many laps as probably between here and lap 100 before he ever sees a lap car. And that gives him and Brian Hoare a chance to run off and hide here. The 3rd and 4th place guys really got to keep up.
Brian Hoare has just done a magnificent job here today. Problems in turn 3. A car is off the racetrack.
Number 9.
That is Tim Andrews out of Concord, North Carolina, 22 years old.
Looks like he He hit the wall earlier on a restart. That was the 2 restarts ago. More problems for him this time, and really gets the back end of the Chevrolet there on the right-hand side.
His first Busch North start was here at this racetrack in 2002. Had a great day that day. Finished in the top 10.
He got shoved this time too, Mike. You look at the driver's side. We didn't see that a moment ago.
That car's been hit a couple of times.
Whew. Tim, you're in the wrong part of the racetrack there, bud.
And Tim Andrews down on the pit lane now. Coming to the attention of his crew. His dad, Paul, is there.
His daddy was the championship crew chief for Alan Kwiecki. And Alan won the Nextel Cup championship.
There is Mike Olson. He's been in the top 10 pretty much all day. Currently running 7th. Right behind Mike Gallo. We're getting ready to go back green, and Stefanik in that 55 leads him to the start and finish line. Brian Hoare, though, right on his bumper.
Kovaluk going to get down there and throw a block on the 74. That helps him out. But look at Hoare charging on the outside. He's trying to hold on to Stefanik.
You're wondering about Matt Kovaluk, our points leader, started out front. It's been a long day for him. He's currently running 21st, a lap down. That is not a battle for position for the 40. Look at Brian Hoare. He has stuck right with Mike Stefanik. Stefanik, who won the championship here in 1997, 98, also a 6-time modified champion.
Now, Brian, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Brian Hoare has 2 things on his mind right now. He's the car in the middle of those 3. He's trying to figure out, where can I possibly pass this 55 car? And at the same time, he's looking in the mirror going, uh-oh, here comes the 74. So he has 2 problems. Number 1, he's got to get around the leader pretty quick. As you see his dad, Kelly Moore, come riding up there in the 47, gets around Brad Layton. But believe me, Brian Hoare is the most pressured guy on the racetrack right now.
So Ryan and Kelly Moore now riding 3rd and 4th. There's Rocky Moran Jr.
Sorry to
pulling
see
behind
that.
the wall.
So he got damage on the right-hand side there, too.
He's had a tough day today.
Red car's got to go. He now has got no choice, because he knows Ryan Moore is coming in that white car right behind him. And he's like, uh-oh, I can't ride anymore now. I got to figure this 55 car out now. And he's doing a pretty good job of it. I'll tell you what, the red car is staying on the bottom of the racetrack, is getting a little bit better run up off the corners right now than Mike Stefanik. Mike Stefanik's car looks like it's starting to get a little bit tight on it. That's the leader. Catches right up here on the corner.
Mike Stefanik, I was talking about, he winning those championships in 97 and 98. He also won modified championships in those years.
Here comes Andy Santerre.
Oh, he is moving. He is on the move. Fast Olson, that's the battle for 7th place. So Santerre now in 7th position.
It's go time, Mike. 94 of 125 laps. Everybody knows you got to get in position here real quick, because it's gonna go by pretty fast.
Brian Hoare. I wonder how concerned he is about that fuel. Maybe Candace can check with his crew and Neil Woodward, his crew chief, about their fuel situation. Remember, he came in on lap 7.
Well, Brian Hoare, I just noticed something else too. You see the right front corner of that red car? He's got some damage up there. And I'm not sure when that happened, but the right front corner of his car, you'll probably be able to see it a little bit better here in a minute, has got some damage on it. As it comes off the corner, we should be able to see it a little bit better. But I'm wondering if that happened on the last restart. See how it's been in there, Mike? Hope that's not rubbing on that tire. You see how that tire kind of sticks out there? That's not good. Doesn't look like the sheet metal's getting back to it in any position.
I don't see a tire rub. No sense of smoke at all.
Hard to tell when we're standing up here. It looks like it's not hurting him right now at all anyway.
Back in the pack just a little bit. Mike Olson running 8th. Eddie McDonald, we talked about him early. He was running the top 5. Trying to battle Mike Olson now for that 8th position.
Did you see the handful of steering wheel that Mike Olson had that time? I thought he was going to dial himself out of the race car. He turned that wheel so hard.
Olson is battling to stay in front of McDonald. I think McDonald might be just a little bit faster.
Oh, there's no question about it. Certainly handling a whole lot better than the 61 is. Just got to find the right spot to get around him and not wreck himself.
Right behind him, James Savali in the 7th car is running 11th. Here at the top of your screen, right behind Mike Johnson. This is only his 2nd start in the series. Here he is on a 1-mile track, and he's battling for a top 10 position. What a run for Savali today.
Drive your race car and race the racetrack. Sometimes by just doing that, you know, you keep yourself out of trouble, and at the same time, you start getting a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker through the race, and you get yourself a good, solid finish. And that's what Savali's trying to get accomplished this afternoon.
Ran at Stafford and finished 26th. Back up front. And Stefanik holding on to the lead. Brian Hoare just not able to catch up to him.
Well, and the good news is Ryan Moore behind him isn't really doing anything in terms of putting pressure on him. In fact, Ryan's kind of slid back a little bit.
And Ryan's dad is running right behind him. All right, we were talking about that fuel situation on the 45. Candace, what have you found out?
Well, Brian Hoare's crew chief said that it's going to be close. He said the cautions are certainly helping. As far as that right front damage on the right front corner, he got into Jamie Obie a little earlier today. He said that is causing some problems, but not much. He said right now they're going to go about 15 more laps, and then they're going to give the leaders a run.
Okay, thanks a lot. Well, when the crew chief says it's going to be close, everybody down there's got their fingers crossed.
Yeah, and this is interesting, Mike. If you know, there's 2 scenarios, obviously, as you watch Andy Santerre lapping around there, Brad Layton, and you do see some smoke coming off of Santerre's car as he waves a thank you to Brad Layton for letting him go around.
And remember, those are teammates, Layton and Santerre. Santerre has made his way up to 6th place. You saw Gallo right in front of him. That would be a battle for 5th. Gallo's in the 5th position in that blue and red car, the 88.
Andy said earlier that he had some fluid that was leaking down onto the engine block, throwing up a little smoke. Whether or not that's what we're seeing or wait to see, but we certainly saw it on the last lap.
Brad Layton's car seems to have gone away from him a little bit. He's slipped back to 7th position.
Well, the question's going to be, Mike, if we get another caution flag, there's about 4 or 5 cars in that 5th through 10th spot that are going to have some decisions to make about what they think they can do with some new tires.
And that's the battle for 10th right there. Brian Chu in the 99. Dave Dion right behind him. Dion, you remember, made that pit stop and has slowly worked his way back up towards the top 10.
Looks like somebody chewed the side of his car up there, the left-hand side of Chu's car.
And just 23 laps remaining. Andy Santerre has decided it's go time. Took a look underneath Gallo for 5th place. Couldn't get by him.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with the way that 88 car has handled today. It has really been a rocket ship. Right down to the bottom of the racetrack, lets it drift up in the center of the corner, turns that steering wheel. You see his hands are real calm. I mean, that car is really working well for him.
There's some talent behind the wheel there, and Mike Gallo.
There's some smoke coming out of Andy's car, too. He's got some problems.
You heard Andy tell us that it was just some power steering fluid getting on the header pipe of that smoke, but I'm not sure now.
Yeah, I think we may have more problems than that. I'd be curious right now if he's lost power steering or not. That might be a question you could ask Candace if the 44 car still got any power steering. Not that big of an issue on a 1 mile if he doesn't.
Boy, look at that. There's a lot of smoke now.
A lot of smoke coming out of there.
Here's our leader up front, Mike Stefanik. 47 years old, out of Coventry, Rhode Island. Already 1 win in the books this season at Holland, New York.
Sports talk for car guys.
The subject is motorsports.
That's what it's all about.
And Dave is in the middle of it all. Wind Tunnel, live Sunday nights 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Do you dream of sheet metal and burning rubber? Then you need the Castrol engine block on Speed.
No matter who tries to be you, it's good to know your HP notebook is made for the real you. HP Business Notebooks have innovative security called Protect Tools. It's not a software afterthought. It's built-in software and hardware working together to help protect your company data at many levels. And you can't get it anywhere else. The HP Compact NX6110 with Intel Centrino mobile technology. It lets you get to your data as easily as it helps to keep others away. Get the HP Compact NX6110 with Intel Centrino mobile technology. Just $9.99 after $200 instant savings plus free shipping. Or get other HP Business Notebooks starting at only $649.
Ryan Orr's got the same problem that Mike Stefanik does. He's got to work that lap traffic. You saw that flagman throwing that blue flag. That's telling the cars that aren't on the lead lap to move over. Let the leaders race, and that's what these two guys want to see happen. They want those lap cars to get out of the way.
Coming down to the closing stages of this race, and again, we'll bring it up. The question mark has to be the fuel on board at 45. Is there enough to make it to lap 125?
If you're driving that car right now, you don't care. At the end of the day, it's either going to be get up here and battle for the lead or go home. Because if I got to go pit for fuel, it's all over anyway. So I'm going to run that car as hard as I possibly can to try to find a weakness and find a hole, find a way that I can get a fender up under that 55 car.
Dealing with some lap traffic right now.
Ryan Moore is really faded in the third spot as well. I don't know if his tires have just gone away or what the situation is with him, but Ryan Moore has really slipped back, and right now it's just a two-car race up front.
That 84 Dion Ciccarelli down there on the inside, and they're clear of that. Nothing but green racetrack in front of them.
I just saw Brian Hoare kind of back off there a little bit, Mike. I wonder if somebody didn't talk to him a little bit and say, well, we don't know if we're going to make it on fuel now, and maybe getting the second place finish is what we need to focus on.
A Dodge has never won in the modern era of the Busch North Series. Moore's win at Thunder Road in 2003 was in a Chevrolet. A huge story. You could put that Dodge in victory lane today.
Keep waving that blue flag, telling those lap cars, get out of the way. Let these leaders race.
15 remain here in the New England 125. Mike Stefanik has been the strongest car all day long. Two-time series champ going for his 12th series win today. Overall, Stefanik has 77 wins in regional touring series, most of those in a modified car. That's the battle for 5th place. Andy Santerre takes it away from Mike Gallo. So Santerre now in the 5th position.
Whatever problem he's having is causing the smoke there. That fluid is burning off quickly, and it's obviously not a problem for the drivers behind him. He's not putting any fluid down on the racetrack, or NASCAR would have black flagged him by now.
Andy Santerre was second at Stafford, second at Holland. Had some trouble at Lake Erie, but finished 9th in that race. Came into this race 3rd in the point standings behind Matt Kovaluk and Mike Stefanik.
That 88 car has really, Mike Gallo's been awfully impressive today. That has been that's a great story, good run for these guys today, no matter where they end up.
You know, it is really difficult to just show up for a couple races a year and run well.
Boy, how about impossible?
That's what Mike Gallo has done.
He's doing the impossible today. Looks like Brian Hoare kind of backed off there.
Well, I was going to say that, or Mike Stefanik is turning up the notch just a little bit. He is expanding his lead now with 12 laps to go.
Well, Brian may have backed off just enough to maybe try to cool his tires off a little bit. You can't do much, but maybe a little bit to mount some kind of final charge here in the final 12 laps. I'll tell you what, though, I just watched Mike Stefanik's hands as he was coming off the corner there, and he wasn't moving that steering wheel around much either, so that horse is really staying strong for him.
You notice he is just up on that wheel. He smells victory now. And both those guys, Stefanik and Hoare, have put some distance on the 3rd place car of Ryan Moore.
Mike's got to be real careful here picking his way around this lap traffic, though. That's going to be critical to not lose time and give Brian Hoare an opening. And we've seen that happen on this racetrack before. All you need is one slow car to get in your way, and you see a couple of them right ahead of him right now, and they're right in the line.
Trying to deal with the lap traffic. There's Jamie Obey in the 67. The 16, that light blue car, that's Kip Stockwell. All those are lapped cars, and Stockwell, a veteran this series, will move over, I'm sure, and let Stefanik and Brian Hoare go by.
He also kind of slides up the racetrack there, and he may have cost Mike Stefanik a little bit of time right there. Brian Hoare draws a bead. He's only a car length off of him now, Mike.
You're right, getting by Stockwell.
Kip's car kind of slid up in the middle of the corner over there. Mike had to get out of the gas somewhat, and that's opening the door here. Brian Hoare seeing that he does have an opportunity.
Under 10 to go here at New Hampshire International Speedway, and Brian Hoare trying to do everything he can to catch up to Mike Stefanik and challenge him for the win here.
Both of them running about the same line down there in 3 and 4. Hoare's car is capable of going a little bit further down to the bottom down here in 1 and 2, and that's giving him a little bit of ground each time, each lap around. But Stefanik pulls him down the backstretch, and that's where he loses what he gains down in 1 and 2.
Well, this Busch North Series always puts on a show here at this racetrack. They've done it again today. Don Wagner, the lapped car there, number 41.
Yeah, no problem for either one of them getting around Wagner there.
The laps ticking down. I'm sure if you're Mike Stefanik, they're slow laps.
They
he'd
can't
like
go
a white
fast
flag
enough.
out right now.
Yeah, they can't go fast enough. Brian Hoare, meanwhile, he can hear every tick of that watch right now and just can't find enough muscle to make a move on the leader. And what Stefanik doesn't want to see right now is a yellow flag. He's praying that 6 more are going to click off the board so that he doesn't have to face a green-white checker situation. So far, so good. He's got to hold his breath for 5 more times around this racetrack.
So smooth, Mike Stefanik, and you're right, as I watch him inside that car, the car's still handling well.
Looks like Brian's car is falling back a little bit more. This is it. There's no time left here. If Brian Hoare's got anything at all, he can't let Stefanik get any further away than he is now.
Yeah, the top 4 now are really strung out just a little bit. There is the battle for 6th position. Mike Gallo, who we talked about running a great race today, is 6th, but look who's caught him. Mike Olson in the 61. Olson has a chance to improve his position, especially in the point standings. Olson running the full schedule. Gallo just running a couple of races this year. Boy, the lead for Stefanik back up front continues to expand a bit.
Yep, I think whatever Brian Hoare thought he had, he's spent it at this point.
Brian Hoare now may be just hoping for 2nd place and hoping that fuel holds out.
What a great story, though, for the 55 car. If nothing happens, and we don't want to curse him by talking about this, but, I mean, he's just had the muscle since the green flag, and he hasn't had a challenger all day.
The only race where he's really been off a little bit was the first one at Stafford. He finished 9th, but won at Holland, finished 2nd at Lake Erie. Just didn't have anything for Ryan Moore that day, but now nobody seems to have anything for him here in New Hampshire. Well, you knew on that first lap that he was going to be good today.
I'll tell you what, he let the reins out on that horse and it just took off. 2 to go.
So it won't be long before Mike Stefanik will see that white flag.
All right, we got a lot of lap traffic up here. Don't suppose anybody's going to cause the 55 a problem, but it's certainly not. Don't turn your television set off yet. It's not over. A couple more laps.
John Cervone in that 98 gets down low and out of the way. White flag flies in the air for Mike Stefanik and Brian Hoare. Final lap here in the New England 125. Stefanik Again, going for his second win of the season. And with Kovaluk's problems today, this win, I would think, would put Stefanik in the points lead.
Well, he has had a great car and an absolute perfect drive on a perfect day here in New Hampshire.
Checkers are out. And Mike Stefanik, you knew he was strong from the first lap. There's his crew. Crew chief Jerry Babb and the owner Steve and Peg Griswold have to be happy. And I think even Andy Santerre is probably smiling. He's the one who oversaw getting that car set up. Second win of the season for Mike Stefanik.
This July, Fox Movie Channel goes
back to New Hampshire International Speedway, where Mike Stefanik has just won his second race of the season, his 12th overall win in this series. For so long up in New England, he has been the dominant name in the modified series. But he's making a statement this year. The two-time champion now is the points leader. He's in victory lane with Candace Kruger.
That's right, Mike. Mike, congratulations to you. Started out great in lap 1 and just got better from there.
Yeah, I told the guys on the radio, big power move to drive around Matt. He's a great competitor, and he left me just enough room, and we were able to grab the lead and never look back. Battled Brian Hoare really hard on the bottom to get to retake the lead, and man, I'll tell you, I told the guys a couple races ago that I'm so thankful we climbing through the window of this car that everybody in the garage is going to be wishing they're climbing through the window of this one by the end of the year.
I tell you what, you hadn't won since '98. You picked up a victory in Holland. You were second in Lake Erie last week. You're back.
Yeah, you know, I must have went to driving school over the winter now. You know, it's just all about teamwork, and we got fresh equipment, based our team in the south, and a lot of resources. Got to thank, you know, Steve and Peg Griswold. They own these three teams, Andy Santerre and Brad Layton. What a great idea to team up with Andy Santerre and to put all the cars under one roof. I think the competitors will feel the teamwork that we have going as the year goes on.
Well, I know you love standing where you are right now. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Let's run down some of the unofficial results today. Of course, Stefanik, the winner, and Brian Hoare, his best finish of the year, comes home in second. Ryan Moore, Kelly Moore, and Andy Santerre. That's your top 5. Like you said, I thought Mike Gallo had a great run today.
Hey, hats off to Mike Gallo. That 88 car was just a rocket ship, nice and steady all day. Mike Olson, Eddie McDonald started in the top 10, finished in the top 10. There's our old favorite, Mike Johnson, doing a good job. Another top 10 finish for him. That's what's going to keep both those cars strong in the points.
And how about James Savali, his second race in a full-body stock car? He comes home 10th at New Hampshire.
Well,
Not bad.
He's going to have to be proud of himself today. He ran against some real tough company and did a good job. Brad Layton finishes up in the 11th spot. There's Brian Chu, and old Dave Dion got his donuts on the door. He made some guys earn those spots today getting around him.
Dale Quarterly had some problems, but recovered to finish 14th. Matt Kovaluk started out front, wound it up 19th in this race today. You've been watching NASCAR Grand National North Series racing on Speed. I'm Mike Hogwood for Pat Patterson and Candace Kruger saying so long from Loudon, New Hampshire, where Mike Stefanik is the winner of the New England 125.